Well, hello there, my degenerate heathens. Welcome back to another Fundie Sunday. And today we're going to be looking at 5 questions for atheists and evolutionists by Baptist Joshua. So let's just jump right in.
A while back, I was in a discussion with an atheist online. I asked him some questions. The first one I asked him was, "Are you an animal?" And he said that he was, and so was I, and did I have a problem with that? I do. But going with your idea that you're an animal, I have a question for some of you atheists and evolutionists, especially the atheists, maybe. If you're an animal, here's the questions I have. Is killing animals wrong? I mean, we kill.
Is killing animals wrong? Well, it's bad. If we could eat meat without killing them, it would be better. However, bad does not mean unjustified. We need to kill things in order to live, even if it's just plants. Now, that would be God's fault if God was real, not ours, since He would have designed the system where we needed to kill to in order to survive. Also, anyone can recognize it's more cruel to kill a dog than a mosquito or a chicken. We also recognize that it's justified to kill pests, kill bacteria, all kinds. Killing things is justified, even though it's bad to kill, no matter what. Um, so, but anyone, even the Christian, can recognize that it's more cruel to kill a dog than like a bug or mosquito or something like that, because of the intelligence of the animal, both raw intelligence and emotional intelligence. Mosquitoes do not have complex emotional relationships, are not very aware of anything. Dogs do have complex relationships and are very aware of the world, aware of pain, loss, pain in others, etc. So why then would it be any different if humans were just an even more emotionally and intellectually complex animal? It seems like you just emotionally don't like the word animal, and you have no actual reasoning beyond that, as if animal just somehow means dirty, stupid thing that you can kill and abuse without restrictions, and a human is a noble thing with rights. But no, animals also have rights. There's a spectrum of rights. An amoeba would have no rights. An insect has no rights. A dog does have near human rights, and I would argue probably should have most of the human rights. Why would humans not have the same status as they do under any worldview, any religious worldview? Why would they not have the same status as a high value animal, since there's a spectrum of rights?
Animals all the time to eat. Well, if we're an animal too, brings up some slippery slopes, doesn't it? Just a slippery slope.
Slippery slope is a fallacy, by the way, so I wouldn't use that as an argument.
Cats are believed to kill other animals, sometimes purely for fun. Do you advocate here and now the total extinction of cats?
What? So, cats kill for fun. So what? Humans, some of them also kill for fun. Why would I advocate for the total extinction of cats? I would have to advocate for the total extinction of humans too. So the reason why they don't know what they're doing is bad. They're dumb cats, and generally we stop them from killing, especially each other. Pet owners don't usually like their cats killing things, and generally they only kill the same things that we do, rats and other vermin that you'll gladly poison just for your own convenience. So no, we do not solve individual problems with genocide, Joshua. You're sounding a little bit like a certain political regime from early 1900s Germany.
If not, what about Nazis? They killed many. And not for fun, but for what they claimed was a good reason.
Wow. So if you don't want to exterminate all cats, what about Nazis?
And not for fun, but for what they claimed was a good reason. So then are you saying that they were justified?
Are we saying Nazis were justified? What? How do you get to thinking that atheism justifies Nazism from cats kill things? I don't want to genocide all cats. Therefore, Nazis and their genocide was justified. What? The Nazis are human. They're capable of understanding that taking away human rights is a bad thing. They're capable of understanding the hypocrisy in their ways, so they can be held accountable. What are you gonna do? Lecture a cat on why eating birds is mean? Oh my dog. Next, I guess.
Question number 2. There are different species of canine. Wolves are much more strong in every area than, say, Chihuahuas.
No, they are not. Which survival strategy sounds more successful to you? Living inside, having humans provide long, playful lives, as well as endless food and water and treats and safety from predators with access to veterinary care. Um, what sounds better, that or scraping your existence off a harsh environment, hunting for every scrap of food you need? Not knowing where the next hunt's going to come from, facing disease and injury with no hope of treatment, living in the cold outside, facing brutal competition, violent competition, not to mention making human beings your enemy. Which one of those sounds like a better evolutionary niche to you? By the way, there's almost 2,000 times as many domestic dogs than wolves in the world, and I would bet that there are more Chihuahuas than wolves, at least in the U.S. Definitely in the U.S. It seems like creationists think evolution is just Thunderdome, that survival of the fittest just means whoever can beat other animals in a physical death battle. But no, fitness just means reproductive success. Insects are among the weakest animals physically and can be taken out by pretty much anything, and do. They're basically just food for almost everything, and yet they're more successful than most animals because their populations persist and spread more than most animals. It's completely about what environment a particular body plan thrives in. Also, the relationships between them. A lot of insects are cooperative. A shark who's king of the sea will die in minutes on land where a squirrel will thrive, and vice versa. That squirrel's not going to survive very long in the deep sea. So, yeah, these people just do not understand evolution, and yet they smugly proclaim things that we believe about evolution.
So according to you, which ethnicity of human is the strongest overall? You may divert by claiming each has their strengths and weaknesses, and certain ethnicities are more specialized in certain locations. So tell me, within the United States, which ethnicity is more suitable, or the favored race, as Charles Darwin put it?
Okay, there is none. Again, nothing can be concluded from evolution that there has to be a superior race. It doesn't work like that. Definitely not a race of humans. Um, that's not even what Darwin meant by race. It's a antiquated usage of the term. This is an etymological fallacy. And the way he uses favored is not quite the same as Joshua wants us to understand it as. So it's a straw man, basically. Every race is able to compete on equal grounds in the environment of America, and therefore there is no fitness advantage among any race. Now, some argue that racism confers a disadvantage in those targeted by that cultural belief individually or collectively. There's a variation of how strong people make that claim, but that's not what we're talking about, nor is it widespread in the environment, nor is it a genetic trait, so it's irrelevant to evolution. Next.
This is all according to your idea. Question number...
No, it absolutely is not. Not one tenet of evolution says that species or races can't have equal levels of fitness. Nor would that idea even entail, even if it was accurately represented here by Joshua, that wouldn't entail that humans of different levels of fitness wouldn't deserve the same human rights. The idea that there are fitness advantages in evolution does not entail that there has to be a fitness advantage between every single species and subspecies and every single human race. It doesn't mean that there has to be those kind of differences. The difference might be as superficial as, oh, some of them can absorb a little bit more sunlight than others. And that's it. That might be the only difference.
Number 3. Current belief regarding the universe is that it is spreading out. The Bible repeatedly states that it is stretching out or has been stretched out. If the Bible was not given by inspiration of God, how did ancient man know this?
Actually, no, the Bible claims that the heavens were stretched out, so clearly they didn't know that, since they thought the sky was the heavens instead of the space. Heaven is not somewhere up in space at all. Ancient people thought that there was a dome over the earth, and beyond that was heaven. So why did the Bible get it wrong if it's the Word of God?
Question 4. How did the Bible get it right that there are springs of the sea, when this was not discovered until 1965 with the advent of deep sea vehicles?
Because they believed in a global flood, so they came up with an ad hoc explanation of where all the water came from. Real underwater springs are far less violent than the ones talked about in the Bible, so again, you're conflating two different things. Also, springs were known to exist above ground back then, so it's not a stretch to guess that they exist underwater too. I'm sure people witnessed underwater springs. Also, the Hindu scriptures accurately predict the distance between Earth and Sun. I guess that means Hinduism is true. These little coincidences can be found and stretched to make this argument that it was a detailed scientific prediction, but inspired by God, but they're not.
Question number 5. Animals often force other animals into sex. We do not kill or punish these acts. Please explain why, if Darwinian evolution is true, why one person raping another is wrong, if we are simply animals.
Okay, so why is human rape wrong if we don't punish animals for rape? Being an animal doesn't change anything. The fact that humans are just highly intelligent animals means that you can't think of one single reason why rape is wrong. Says more about you than it does about atheism or evolution. So let me help you out with this one. Rape is still wrong among the animals, but we can't police them for a variety of reasons. It's kind of hard to catch them. They can't really report their victimization. Can't get victim statements or reports from animals. We don't hold animals, even if we could catch them all, morally accountable because they can't understand what they're doing is wrong or why. I mean, we still, if animals are being violent or rapey, we still lock them up. We don't charge them in a court of law because, again, there's like no way to hold them accountable by the same standards. But yeah, animals do get punished for things. That's generally up to the individual owners. There's animal control as well. But anyway, a better question would be, why did your God design animals that rape each other? Why would your God make cats have barbed penises that injure the females? Why would your God design ducks with penises that spiral the opposite direction of duck vaginas so that they try and run away, and rape is the only way to get in. Why would your God put rape on the minds of animals like dolphins? Why would your God make wasps and parasites that lay eggs in their victims as their only reproductive strategy? Why would God make praying mantises eat their sperm donors? Clearly, these are species-specific behaviors, or else all animals would eat the heads of the males after copulation, etc., etc. It doesn't matter what kind of being you are. If you have the self-awareness to understand right and wrong, something your God tried to stop humans from learning, by the way, then we're capable of being held responsible for our actions, since we understand the consequences. A male cat doesn't really understand what he's doing is rape. Humans do understand what they're doing. So, but, I mean, you would still stop your cat from raping another cat, wouldn't you? And again, you can't think of any reason why it's bad if humans are just classified as animals. Why would that make a difference? It would be the same reason either way. Same reason why a perfect God would hate rape. And again, just because humans are animals doesn't mean there's no God either. But a perfect God would hate rape because it's a violation of a person's right to self-determination and bodily autonomy, and that's bad. So a perfect God would not hate rape just because he just kind of randomly happens to not like it for no reason. No, he would have a reason, and that reason would be something like rape decreases the amount of freedom in the world. It takes away choice of the rape victim of what happens to their bodies. Being an animal or not does not change this argument whatsoever. Rape isn't wrong in the Bible, by the way. Well, I guess it's defined differently. So rape is 100% okay in the Bible as long as you pay the woman's father and marry her. Rape is also blamed on the woman. She'll be stoned to death if she does not call out or no one hears her call out for help, as if rapists never tell their victims to be quiet. And also, sexual slavery of women and children was totally fine in the Bible. Conquered peoples, particularly virgin young girls, were considered to be the spoils of war. So, yeah, there's really this understanding of rape that you have is a modern construct. It's not a biblical one.
Your myth of evolution has caused a lot of problems and has been the excuse of many criminals, Jeffrey Dahmer, the Nazis, I think Mao Zedong, Pol Pot. These are fair questions to ask. If your myth were true, then these would be great questions to apply to it.
Evolution is true, and these are fair questions, but they're not great questions, since it displays a lack of understanding of the subject matter. Now, if you don't understand, then ask the question, but don't act like you understand. The Nazis were not correct about their theories on race. They were scientifically, objectively incorrect. And their arguments are hypocritical, so that means they're objectively incorrect. Their ideas were not based in any real scientific understanding of evolution. And Hitler was a creationist, by the way, and did not... There are quotes about him laughing at the idea of monkey to man evolution. He sounds a lot like Kent Hovind when he talks about kinds only producing after their kind. He thinks races have inherent traits. These are not ideas of evolution. Evolution would actually state that race mixing is a good thing. Hybrids are usually more fit since they get benefits from different lineages, and the recombination helps weed out bad traits as well. Purebred dogs often have health problems, while mutts are the healthiest. Let's see, in the USSR, they also explicitly rejected Darwinistic evolution, and as a result, millions of people starved to death because of this Lysenkoism, this idea that you could force traits into things, that it wasn't due to natural selection. And Jeffrey Dahmer wanted to perform acid-based brain surgery. I'm not sure that had to do with evolution. Let's look at some of his quotes. By the way, this would be a genetic fallacy to say, well, Jeffrey Dahmer believed in evolution, therefore it's wrong. So if a person doesn't think there's a God to be accountable to, then what's the point of trying to modify your behavior to keep it within acceptable ranges? That's how I thought anyway. I always thought, I've always believed in the theory of evolution as truth, that we all just came from the slime. When we died, that was it. There was nothing. So, I mean, again, neither Jeffrey nor Joshua seem to get it. This is a conflation of evolution with the idea that there is no afterlife. There's no contradiction between evolution and belief in a soul. Most Christians believe God is the designer of evolution, that he used evolution to create humans and animals, since time is meaningless to him. And if a person doesn't think there's a God to be held accountable to, then what's the point of trying to modify your behavior to keep it within acceptable ranges? Well, and the meme says, can atheists answer him yet? Well, yeah, because we're held accountable to each other. Because other people exist, and you aren't special. If you want your freedoms respected, you're a hypocrite if you don't respect the freedom of others. It is correct, and will give you better results, especially on the scale of a whole society, to reduce the hypocrisy in your life. I wonder if Jeff's sexual releases, or whatever you want to call it, were worth him being caught, going to jail, and ending his life by being bludgeoned to death. He was held accountable by human beings. Humans stopped him from continuing his ghastly experiments and murders. God just sat there and watched. And I also wonder how much of the Christian suppression of sexual enjoyment and sexual expression led to Jeffrey Dahmer's strange relationship with sex. I wonder if our society, if it was more open to sex and gay sex, if he wouldn't have been able to have a healthier relationship with sex and other humans. So anyway, but Jeffrey Dahmer is actually much closer to what you think, Joshua, that there's no morality without God. That's not an atheist position. It's actually a position of primarily held by theists. Atheists can believe that, but again, it's not a required belief. There's no doctrine of atheism. As far as my experience goes, atheists generally look at it in that they do good things for the sake of being good. The superior way to look at morality is that it's the right thing to do, whether or not you're going to be rewarded, and that bad things are the wrong thing to do, whether or not you're going to be punished. And if you only do certain things because of fear of divine retribution, you aren't a good person. You're just a bad person who's a coward, who's afraid of being caught. So that's the end of the video. Joshua goes on to do quote some scriptures and stuff at the end of this, but that's all the questions answered. Anyway, guys, enjoy your Godless Sunday, and thanks for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe. It will really help me out the more you do, and I'll be able to produce more content. I'm rocketing towards 1,000 subs, and the goal is to make this channel a legitimate source of income soon. So thank you all for your help and engagement, and that was another Fundie Sunday, and God bless.